Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new video. So welcome back to the channel. Today I'm actually going to be bringing you some planner journal content, and my little planner journal actually does not usually see the light and day of YouTube here, but I'm going to be working on the cover of it because typically the inside of it, and I'll talk a little bit more about what my planner journal even is here, but I typically work on this on Patreon because it is a bit more personal, because it is a personal journal where I do kind of have not daily entries, but certainly if something important happens or something special happens, you know, I will journal with personal pictures. I write little entries. Basically, this all came about, I'd say, around the time that my son was born. I really fell down this rabbit hole of really feeling like I needed to document more of my personal life and things that were happening, especially just as Roman was growing. I wanted to document these moments and found that the best way to really do that is actually journal things, collage things. And this has evolved for me over a long time, and my patrons can definitely attest to this because they've seen me start out with just, you know, kind of junk journaling that I was experimenting with, and moving from a junk journal to kind of like a traveler's notebook to a traveler's notebook to, actually I was in the traveler's notebook for a while. And then I kind of mushed together my planner, my everyday, like where I write my to-do lists, how I manage my calendar, my business notes, all sorts of stuff, even just like my creative ideas. I have now merged that in with kind of my personal journaling that also takes place. Thus, the planner journal was born. So it's this whole really interesting amalgamation of things. And let me talk about what's happening on screen at the moment now. Right now, you're seeing a little quick preview of some brand new stickers that I just got made. Some really fun vinyl stickers that are going to be coming soon to my Etsy shop. I'm working on a huge Etsy restock with a bunch of brand new stuff, but I just love those stickers so much. I wanted to include those in my cover collage here, and that's what I'm going to be concentrating on in this video. Oh, and also to note, that adorable little Mike Myers sticker is actually from an Etsy shop called Morning Bloom. I will put a link to that in my description below, but I have stockpiled a whole bunch of really fun stickers from that artist. She does really cool tattoo art, and I'm like obsessed with it. Anywho, it was one of my favorite stickers that I'd gotten from like my latest haul from her Etsy shop, but I'll put a link down below to that little guy. So this whole video is going to be me collaging the cover of my hobonichi. It's an A6 size, by the way, in case you're wondering. So it's the small one, which has been perfect for me because as someone who doesn't really do a lot of actual handwriting journaling per se, it's a bit of a challenge for me every now and then to like sit down and actually, you know, write an entry. I have to really kind of force myself to do it. But I know in the future, being able to look back and read these things, and especially for Roman, being able to look back and read these things, special moments that happen, you know, it means a lot to have that kind of personal handwritten touch. But anywho, this smaller A6 size is definitely ideal for me. I don't think I could work in the larger size hobo. There's just no way. Too much space, especially because this is, you know, the daily format. So there is lots of pages in this bad boy, that is for sure. Yeah, so what I'm working on now is the cover, and I wanted to collage this because I was tired of just looking at the yellow cover that comes with this. So I had been kind of stockpiling some of my favorite things, just like patterns and prints and kind of colors, some little kind of scrapbook paper scraps, and kind of just had a small little stockpile going of like, okay, this is stuff that I really love that I'm prepared to commit to on a cover. Because the other thing with this is that I typically don't deal with the cover of my journals or my sketchbooks. I tend to just leave them as is because there's something about when you decorate the cover of something, it's kind of a commitment, right? And I'm talking about beyond just slapping a sticker on the cover of your sketchbook. I'm talking like your art journal, committing to, you know, collaging on the front of it or painting it or adding details to it. Like that to me is like such a commitment, and it reflects so much of what the inner contents are. So I had kind of really been holding back on kind of messing with this cover, and originally I had just planned on sticking a Bye Bun sticker on it, which was what was on the back, and you saw me kind of rip it off in the beginning here. I started with just that, and then I was like, you know what, let me just work in this and make sure that this is a format that I can, you know, get on board with and that I can really grow this into my planner journal. I since have, and it's really starting to get pretty chunky considering it's only mid-February and this guy is really chunked out. But that said, I had been filling so many pages of this, I quickly realized, if I want to do the cover of this thing, I kind of need to do it now before I continue to bulk up this journal, because that is what is happening. I'm actually starting to get to a point now where I have to tell myself to stop putting tip-ins and extra pages into this, because it is starting to really weigh down the pages in this thing. But that said, I finally was like, you know what, let me get a good stockpile of kind of images that I really like and start collaging this bad boy together. As far as collaging goes, you've seen that I'm kind of working from large to small. So I kind of have these larger kind of pattern pieces, really like chunks of scrapbook paper. I have this random piece of like that pinky tie-dye magazine chunk, which I actually think was in a gather and chat video now that I think about it. I even had this really big picture of, I think it's actually Disneyland, of when they first were developing and building Disneyland, is what that big black and white picture is. These are all kind of stuff that I'd been saving, because it was either just like stuff that I really liked that I wanted to put onto something, or that I really liked but just has been floating in my ephemera bin for a long time and really just hadn't found a true home for it yet. So that's kind of what most of these big pieces are. And let me say now, because I know a bunch of you are going to come for me in the comments. You're going to be like, why are you putting so much time into all these initial layers when you're just going to cover it up with a bunch of stuff? Because you're going to see as this video progresses, I really go overboard with how much stuff I collage onto the cover of this. And I will answer that by saying a layer is a layer, and I am all about creating what I call authentic layers. And if you've taken any of my online courses, you've heard me say this. And the reason why I say this is because I think any and all layers are important. Because even once I start coming in with kind of this smaller stuff, or maybe what I would call like the medium-sized stuff, I'm coming in with more like image specific kind of items. Like I have the little kind of bee at the top, I have the kind of cut out black flowers, the teeth. Even once I start coming in and adding all this stuff on top, I still get tiny little peek throughs of that pattern paper underneath. So even if I just see a tiny little bit peeking through, that underlayer has done its job. So I always am a big fan of the more layers you can put down, even if it ends up getting covered up, who cares? Especially if it just keeps your momentum going, right? And I think that's a huge thing with collaging, is kind of having moves and momentum. So if putting a big ghost scrapbook paper of something or that star pattern down motivates you to then, grab the next piece, or think, oh, this will look cool on top of this, or I can grab this and it will create interesting contrast, even though it's covering stuff up, it has ultimately served its purpose. So once I get a bunch of these little chunks down, these smaller little images, I kind of go into sticker palooza, and you'll see me add in some larger stickers, which are some of my own. And then you'll see me get into bananas, which sounds crazy, but it will make sense in a moment. A while back, and I believe it's in a studio vlog somewhere, I had designed a bunch of patterns and prints to potentially use as cover paper in mini journal kits. And I created this banana print, which I absolutely loved. And I even got some of it printed once I created a digital scan of it. I had gotten a bunch of it printed. But then I just took these prints and I ended up just kind of shoving it into my ephemera pile and just kind of left it as such. But after recently kind of going through and organizing my ephemera and kind of cleaning things out, I keep stumbling into these darn bananas. And I was like, I have to figure out a way to use these because they're so cute and I just don't know what to do. So I started actually cutting out the individual little bananas and putting them on stuff. I was putting them in my sketchbook. I was putting them into my, the inside pages of my planner journal. And then I started toying with the idea of putting it onto the cover here. And it just added such a fun little contrast. And especially with just like all the other little things happening on this page, like you see me right now, I'm gluing beetles and bugs onto the front, just like cool stuff that I had saved, but just, it kind of felt almost too precious in a way to put into an actual collage or an art journal spread. And I haven't really been doing a whole lot of art journaling per se. I've been doing kind of other types of mixed media work. And there's that Morning Bloom sticker, that little, cutie pie Mike Myers that I am just like so obsessed with. Again, that is for Morning Bloom. But here I go with the bananas. I started cutting them out individually and kind of sticking them on. And I thought, oh my God, this is such a fun collage moment. I don't know why I never thought to use these in this way. And it wasn't until I started really creating these little ghosts both for designing stickers, but also like I've been working on creating washi tape and all sorts of stuff. You guys will see this in an upcoming vlog, but I've been really crazy about drawing stuff and then cutting it out so it's like really small, like almost like confetti. It's like illustrated confetti. It's like the only way that I can describe it. And I did this technique on a new zine of mine all about ghosts, and I've kind of just been obsessed with like cutting out tiny things and then like, you know, putting it down in a repetitive pattern or way, or just using it to fill up space. And I found that these bananas were like the perfect way to fill up space, and it was such a fun little accent. And so needless to say, this cover with the bananas really kind of started something with me on that. I just have found myself reaching for those damn bananas and putting them everywhere. I am thinking about scanning more pattern, like more stuff that I have painted and printed, and even just kind of taking that banana print and offering it as a digital download potentially in my Etsy shop. Let me know if that's something you guys are interested in, because I have several other patterns kind of in the works that I've been using to design other products and merch and stuff that I think could be really fun as sort of like ephemera like this, or as extra paper for backdrops, or, you know, to cut out and make it look like kind of stickers like what I'm doing here. You know, let me know in the comments. That's definitely something that I'm leaning towards doing in my Etsy shop. So once I've added in some washi tape, and I kind of used it just along edges and to kind of just fill up blank space here and there, I dug into my mega drawer of stickers, which I have an insane collection of stickers. Thanks to Sticky Club, I am a subscriber there, and oh gosh, I'm just like, my sticker addiction has gone to a whole new level, and it's now at a point where I need to actually do like a full clear out of my sticker drawer and figure out a way to organize my stickers, because it's getting really out of hand. If I figure out how to organize it, I will turn that into a video for you. In the meantime, the drawer of sticker chaos, I tend to leave sheets that I really love towards the top, and I just kind of grabbed a nice little pile there of ones that I've really loved from recent months, some favorites just from the past year or so, and I'm kind of just using that to fill in space. And I mean, my planner journal has been the best place to dump extra stickers, to put my stickers to use, because it's so easy to just like hoard stickers and then never actually use them. But I use them in my planner journal, which is awesome. Here, of course, I'm just putting a little final touch. I did want to add the date. I had these random, you know, alphabet number stickers, so I just threw it on a little piece of paper and stuck it on the cover. I didn't want to go too crazy with putting like the exact dates, that this is like a 6-month range, obviously. But you get the whole vibe here. This is like chaos. I feel like this is like my notebook from high school when I used to cover it with all sorts of crazy stuff. But I actually deep down secretly really love this. And it brings me such joy when I open up my little faux leather cover that this lives in. You know, I get the little peek of kind of all the fun images and stickers and stuff that I've collaged all over this, and it just brings me joy, which is what life is about, right? I mean, like, especially in a book or a journal that I'm using literally every day, multiple times a day, I want to be looking at stuff that makes me happy and makes me want to work in it. Of course, one final little touch that I'm doing here is that I am adding, I took some just clear packing tape, and I'm just using this to seal everything down so it's not gonna get messed with. It's nice and smooth. And this was actually surprisingly much easier to do than I had anticipated. Everything, you know, got smoothed out pretty easy. You mainly just have to be careful of kind of, you know, air bubbles and creases as you go, but you can see I kind of just start with one side and work my way over. I think this being the A6 size is also makes this process a heck of a lot easier. But there you have it. That is the collaged cover of my planner journal. Nice and finished, cleaned up, sealed with that tape. I could not be more happy with this. It just, again, brings me so much joy. Just all of this spooky, fun, chaotic stuff happening on this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, watching me kind of collage my hobonichi cover. And then again, this is my faux leather cover that's on the outside here that I've added sticker patches to and all sorts of goodness. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.